Hi Jammers, okay, here we are again, Jammers, hot as per usual. What can I do, okay, so today it's all about Black history, it's all about Black culture, and I'm at the IJULA Centre. I will put the details for this location here. Apparently it's open for all kinds of activities, but today they have got a Black History, Black Our Story festival. So it's all about networking, it's all about meeting like-minded people. It's actually just after lunchtime, just after midday, and I did have to RSVP. It did say starting at 8 o'clock, but yeah. If you go ahead and watch Love on the Streets, you'll see that I'm now learning. I just don't turn up any time that they say something starts. So 4 hours later, and it doesn't look like there's very many people here so far. But yeah, let's see what the day has to offer. Learning a bit about culture, see who we'll meet. Yeah, see you soon. So it's the ytgroup.com IJULA there, Jammers. Website detail there. Yeah, and again, it's a gorgeous sunny day. It's just opposite the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. So if you're wanting to know where the location is, and again, this area is very green. We still haven't had any rain as yet, Jammers. Still no rain. So you can just imagine how lush and beautiful the areas will look once you actually do get a bit of rain. And then you've got your flagmen there obviously helping if anyone wants to come across and park up. So see you in there, Jammers. Twins are waiting. James is like, I'll just get me inside. Okay, let's get cracking. Okay, Jammers, so here we are, and this lovely lady is going to tell us all about this product. And yeah, looks all very exciting, all about culture, all about empowering our young people, isn't that right, Ava? Okay, go ahead.
So, my name's Lamore and I write storybooks for children. They're culture educational, and the stories come with the tree language inside, which is a Ghanaian language, a common Ghanaian language. It comes in green, and there's a glossary for translation as well. At the back of the stories, they have recipe, facts and figures, history, based on the theme of the story. So there's a specific ones to do with Independence Day, and there's two other ones, one to do with the market and one to do with the Holocaust. These are character doll sets, Effie and Mama, and then we have them in Afro Twist, Afro Straight, and Afro Pink.
Oh, I love it. So Afro Twist is here, Afro Straight, and Afro Kinky just over there. And what are the price points on these? How much are they? How much are they?
So we sell them in cities.
Oh, in cities, yeah, perfect. We're in Ghana. I do love when people give their prices in cities and not in dollars. You know, we are in Ghana after all.
So this is for books of 60 cities.
60?
Yes, and the doll sets in 300 cities.
300 cities.
We have an African girl pack.
And that's per doll.
300 cities per doll.
Yep.
We have an African girl pack where you get a headboard, slippers, journal, book, and a doll set. That's 600 cities.
I love it. A beautiful gift. So do you have a website as well? Or?
It's at www.aftermykind.com. But those prices in dollars.
In dollars, of course. And you ship worldwide?
Yes, it's looking for that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Instagram, what's your Instagram page?
After My Kind.
After
My Kind.
After My Kind. Love it.
I'm proud to be who we are.
There we go. We are proud to be exactly who we are. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And how much are the books?
The journals?
The journals.
The small ones are 30 cities and the other ones are 50 cities.
Beautiful. Ava, you love journals down there. The journals are 30 and 50 cities, so we're definitely going to be making a purchase. And the books are how much?
60.
I love the book. Very, very nice. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And this young man is who? Oh, you're wow.
So this is my brand, and so I make all the products that you see here. So my brand name is called Inketa, which means heritage. So I try to spread the African heritage through modern fashion. And so I make all the products myself. So I've got different t-shirts, tracksuits.
I love it. I love it. And this jacket, tell me about this beautiful piece. What's it made of?
The cloth is made from cotton, and then it's originated from the north of Ghana and the Bolga region. And so it's similar to like the kente. And so I've designed it into like a modern
I love that. And do you know, so you source the cotton?
Yes, I source the material.
Yeah.
And then I make the product.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And how much would this piece sell for?
So the jacket's 1,000 cedis.
1,000 cedis.
And then I've got tracksuit sets as well.
And
With the bottom.
the tracksuit set is how much?
This one is 1,000 too. And then the t-shirts.
And are we taking card payments today, or was it just cash?
I took my money, and then there is some takes cards, so I might be able to save them.
Okay, I love it.
But since you're from the UK, we're from the UK too, so
You've got your UK bank account.
UK bank account.
There you go. There you go, guys. Always, you know, multiple ways to skin a cat. So I'm definitely going to be buying something from here. Show me the tracksuit in detail, please. I love it.
Okay.
Is there any meaning to it?
So I use African print fabrics which are made in Ghana.
Yeah.
So this type is more like I like this contemporary style. It's like a contemporary kente.
Beautiful.
So I designed it and sewed it myself.
You sewed it yourself?
Yeah, I sewed it myself.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
Wow, there you go. It's all about, you know, being employers and not employees.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Thank you. And then my logo is a remake of the Sankofa symbol, which in a Ghanaian Dinka symbol, meaning heritage.
Wow. Absolutely beautiful. Love that. And is this yours that you're wearing today?
Yes, as well.
Very, very nice indeed. There you go, jammers. So come home to Ghana. You can see what's happening here. You know, we're all innovators, all serial entrepreneurs.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please, we're about to start the next panel discussion. So please, if you're part of that section, I'd like to entreat you to get into the room right away. I know some of you are still having your refreshments, but please, the next discussion is about to go down. And I'd like to humbly ask all our speakers to be there, and also those of you who would like to go through the very subject we're going to discuss, I'd like to reach out to all of you to join us. Thank you very much.
So jammers, you can hear what's going on here. There's about to be a discussion, and there's so much to buy, so much to see, jammers. Come home to Ghana. Oh, hello. Are these your pieces here? Excellent. Can you tell us a bit about them?
Okay, so this is made from brass.
Made from brass?
This brass is made from copper and zinc.
Yeah.
So it doesn't rust. It doesn't rust. Yeah.
Beautiful.
You can have it on as long as you want.
I think it's a bit similar to the one that I got here in, where did I buy this? Cape Coast Castle, yeah, and I haven't taken it off since. So this is the space here, jammers, beautiful space. Arts and craft is happening in here. So is there a charge for this?
Excuse me?
Is there a charge?
Yes, there is.
What is the charge? Oh, so we don't. Okay, guys, so they've now paid for this activity. It's 50 cedis, and this now gives them access to any activity that's going on here. Is there anything else apart from arts and crafts happening today?
I think there's a food vendor, there's a video game.
So inside there's a video game. Okay, young jammers, Ava and Jones. Inside there's video games as well. So yeah, we'll see what the day entails. Let me just go and see if I can do a quick scoot around in here and see what this video games are. Oh, there's a little talk going on in there. I'm going to do that. But you can see, jammers, it is an absolutely beautiful space that you are able to come and do your events here. You can rent out the property as well. Again, you saw the website detail on the intro, and there's a lot of, you know, lots of interesting, unique spaces around here. Can't quite see the video games that he was referring to, but there you go. Oh, Madame Cherie's doing a quick U-turn. Are there video games in here? He said. Madame Cherie, he said there's video games. Anansi room. Okay. Oh, in here, the Anansi room. Let's go and have a look. Oh, interesting. That's very busy, but yeah, Jones would be happy to see all of that. I must say, I do love the artwork that's in here. So let me go and see what the talk is going to be all about. Ava and Jones in the infancy room. Straight on your right hand side there's video games. Oh, as per usual, no one's interested. See my life, Janice, see my life. Spend most of my time talking and nobody go and say, yeah, I can understand why. But nobody listens.
Inner work. I mean, this kind of every month I have to think of what to fix on my hair. It's becoming too much for me. I just said, no way, I can't do this anymore. I just stopped and I just braided my hair for 1 year, and then the following year I just locked my hair. And I'm free. I mean, I don't judge anybody who doesn't, own up when it comes to their hair. But the story you tell yourself psychologically also affects how you show up in your world. And so why you choose to do something is also bearing on your total well-being. And that is what is crucial about owning ourselves for who we are as Blacks. So that when we show up, it is not because we are showing up being judged with how Americans will look or function, but how I will look and function as a Black person. This is me, and this is how I love to live my life. And so our well-being is not just the absence of disease. It's not just about the absence of disease, but how we balance our lives within ourselves. Everything about our mindset starts with wellness. If I'm coaching you for your well-being, I'm first trying to shift your perspective so that if I bring an apple and a donut, it's your mindset and your perspective that will let you choose something. What made you choose the hairstyle? What made you choose the dress you're wearing? What made you choose these shoes? I got so free becoming myself. I don't have to buy designer bags to feel like myself. I just switched to woven bags and I feel so different among my friends. Nobody is using these bags, but I have them in tones. And that is me. Wherever you see me with a woven bag. You see me being myself. You see me dressing the way I want to dress as a woman, not as fashion would say or as a country would define me to be. This is the beginning of us showing up as Africans for our well-being. And I'm happy to share this conversation with my sister. Please introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
All right. So my name is Corinne Hudbrook. I'm the country ambassador for Africa's Mental Health Matters here in Ghana. Yeah.
Okay. So she works for mental health, and as I've shared, the story starts with here. What is going on there for you? That's where it starts from. And 90% of this is what comes back to show here. Because when the toxins are saturated in the mind-body physiology, then the body wants to show. Sometimes you go to the hospitals and they say, we can't even tell what is wrong with you, because it is not just the physical things that is causing the disease, but what is going on here. When we talk about mental health for Africans, what do you think is the first things we should be looking at?
Well, for me, it's definitely your well-being, how you feel about yourself. Because I came across a lot of youth, because what Africa's mental health is all about is to change our attitude towards and behavior towards mental illness, also to destigmatize, the perception, because people have a lot of misconception about mental health. Because what we realize is like, no, a mental person is only someone walking down the street naked, but it's more than that. Yeah.
Yes, so that is a very true scenario. When we talk about mental health, a lot of people are looking at the extreme before they can say that there is a problem. But being sad is a mental health issue. The same way if you have a pain on your shoulder or in your waist, you will say that I'm not feeling well physically. The moment your thought line doesn't make you feel good internally, that is mental health. And so even simple anxiety, fear, something that makes you feel, oh God, this is not where I wish I'd be. It is a mental health challenge. And if we don't accept these to address them, then we are pushing a lot of things under the carpet. And over time, it affects our identity. Because who you are, as we started from the beginning, tells a lot about how you feel in your mind, body, spirit. And so let's not also always say that if somebody has depression, it means that there's something wrong with them. misperceptions, the way we judge people, and so people don't come out to say when they are even ashamed or guilty or grieving. So we hide all these things as Africans, and it doesn't help us. So as she's saying, it's not when the person is out on the street, that means they have a mental health issue. Somebody may be here free from disease, but not well. How about that? And we can all identify something that is making us unwell right now. I'm unwell. And well-being is not an end to be achieved. It's a journey. Every day we strive to press because they are afraid of being judged. Children can't go ahead and do what they want because parents say you can't do this, you have to be like this. And as I shared from the beginning, sometimes the journey to total well-being can be lonely because you need to give up a lot of things. You need to give up sometimes saying no to your parents because you know where you want to get to. You know what you want to become. But people in your life are all telling you to become something else. And it can be difficult. So let's be aware of our choices for people. And wellness starts with what? Consciousness, awareness. How am I influencing my world? Am I influencing it in a positive way? If you can show up and you know that I'm giving people space to also show up consciously, then you are supporting the world. But if you show up and you're judging, condemning, pushing people here and there, you are not helping us to all show up in a more healthy way to help our society. So as Corinna said, this is what is running in the African sector. We judge ourselves too harshly. We are not loving to ourselves. We need to love ourselves. And you can't love somebody if you don't love yourself. And the journey about self-love is the beginning of, owning who we are. We need to love it. I love what my sister was sharing here earlier about hair and all that. We need to love everything about who we are. And once you do it, you will give people space to also be themselves. And it becomes a healthy space for us all to live. Coming back to you, after judgment, what do you think we can do to empower our youth to accept where we are, who we are as a people? Because now with social media, with internet, with TV, everything is being pushed into your face. Whether you are sleeping or you are walking, the billboards, everything is pushing something on you. And wellness is not just about what you eat. What you watch, what you read, what you listen to, what you talk about is all coming into your physiology, your psychology, to become an information you use to make a choice. So everything you allow into your space is becoming part of your well-being. And for me, I haven't been listening to news for over 20 years. I don't read newspaper. And it's not, yes, I don't listen to news over 20 years. But I know what I have to know when I have to know. I know what I have to know when I have to know. 20 years. I don't listen to news. I don't read newspaper.
Can I say something?
You can, ma'am.
So, news made me hate an African leader when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And I was the one that could understand Dutch and English in the family. So my father would force me to listen to the TV news from English to our language and from Dutch to our language. And I came to hate that man because the way the news was portraying him. And my father loved that man. And I was like, how can you love him? This is what the news said. He says, I don't care, but I love him. And that was Mr. Idi Amin.
Oh. I got to watch the movie. Yeah. So everything you are being shown, you are reading, you are watching, is becoming part of you. You are eating it from the wellness perspective. You are eating it. So if you can appraise your choices and you know that if I watch these things.
No. Everybody should. In the work I did, I had to listen to the news. But when I was growing up in the 50s, BBC was BBC Amatrofo. BBC is a liar. So you listen and then you pick what you need from it. Yes. The news has always worked for me. The need to know what is happening everywhere in the world.
Just as I said, if your world or what you do requires it, you have to. But at the end of the day, how do you practice a self-care that shifts the toxic out of your system? That is another thing. You can listen, but if you're unable to practice enough caring for your mental health, then you can listen to a certain particular story of news from Ghana to America to this, and daily things are coming up because your mind wants to, run on conversations, things that it wants to explore, things that stimulate it. So what you are giving the mind, that's what it will be thinking about. So how do you also practice certain self-care practices so that you can push those stories out of your mind so you can feel better? So I was coming to you on that. Aside this judgment story, our youth are being given all kinds of things. How do we as an African bring up these conversations more from your platform as an ambassador for mental health for Africa? What can we do in Africa? I look at my children, I'm like, Jesus Christ. When are they going to, wake up? But I know I also have to give them the space for their own experiences so they can learn and grow. But we need to actively be doing something. What do you think?
Well, you said it all. It all comes down to choices, because at the end of the day, as you mentioned, for example, you decided for the past 20 years not to listen to news. But when you listen to news, for example, you should know that, what is good for you and what is not good for you. And probably you listen to something that might trigger something in you that you're not really happy with. Just shift your focus from it and know what you watch. And I always say on social media, there's so many, you can find so many things and so many fake things, if I would say. People will portray as if they live such a glamorous lives, and everybody wants to copy the way you dress and all of that, but that's not the daily routine all the time. That's so not true. So you need to be able, to tell yourself, hey, this is what I can do, this is what I cannot do. Yeah, so it all comes down to choices, because I might be here advising you, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, but at the end of the day, it comes back to you to know what is good for you. Yeah.
Absolutely. It is. Wellness is a choice. As I said, always knowing that I have two choices. And whichever choice whatever one I choose, one is taking me to high level wellness or to premature illness. That is the continuum. Exactly. Every choice you make, one takes you there. There's no middle ground. It's either this way or that way. And it all comes down to the willpower God gave you to choose. Choosing is such a powerful thing. To be angry is a choice. To be happy is a choice. To forgive is a choice. To be patient is a choice. Yes, something outside of yourself may be causing a reaction, but instead of reacting unconsciously, you can react consciously by choosing what will help you, not the circumstance that came. So as much as I agree that choosing, our youth are growing up in a space that they don't have certain education. They were born into this way of living. And so sometimes, as I was saying, I try to stop my kids. Don't do this is not good for you. I tell my son, when you're coming to me, don't have the phone. Because it worries me. Yeah. But I know I can't totally prevent them from their generation and what is going on now. Yeah. But I think we need to also start some advocacy or something as Africans to start bringing the conversation to our youth. Yeah. Because if we don't get them to accept what we have as Africans, the stories they are getting out there, it's taking them away from our true, essence of who we are. That's what I see. Yeah. Yes, please.
Yes, since you are the ambassador for mental health for Africa, I'm just wondering, in the future, what plans do you have for our youth? Because she keeps saying our youth, and for me, that's a really big challenge for me too. I think our youth have no idea who they are. Yeah. Mentally, they are sick because we brought them into a generation where everything is so deceptive and fake. So, and they are falling in love with the fake and deceptive things. It's very sad because they are into a world where media is more important than the books. They will prefer to do a Google search on how to take care of my baby than go to ask a grandmother how to take care of my baby.
I agree.
I mean, they will prefer to go and look for how to take care of baby and STD sickness than go to the hospital for treatment. So it's a very serious, challenging thing.
It is.
We face this daily in our various homes. And I think I would want to give a suggestion, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I think the first place we need to target as your ambassador, you have more power because you have a whole team that you can work in, is to go to the homes. Because at the homes, that's where everything starts. So they get everything from the homes, they bring it to the schools, then it becomes an explosion. So if you're able to target the homes where the kids are being bred and groomed at, and the mothers and parents or whoever is caring for them, the caregivers, are aware, are exposed to these issues, and you let them know the disadvantages and advantages, because human beings need to know the disadvantages and advantages. That is when they take things serious. Because if you come to me and I tell you that if you take coffee, this is what will happen to you. But if you take moringa, this is what you get. Obviously, you'll be coming to me for moringa, and I'll be getting more money from you. But when we keep quiet of the problems, we don't want to share or talk about it, then it becomes an issue. So the kids need to know, because they will ask me, Mommy, you're telling me not to use the phone. Why should I use the phone? And the phone gives me all the information. Why are you telling me I should use the phone? So why are you telling them not to use the phone? So the reason why we are telling you not to use the phone is, one, you're going to be exposed to radiation, because my profession is an electrical engineer, and I understand the radiation effect on human beings. Two, as you age, I don't want you to be exposed to so many untrue things which will not physically groom you well, because the world is full of fake issues. Someone can be sitting in a bathroom and make it look
to understand. It took me a while to be able to understand that, and I love my self-care because it's an everyday. That's what I say all the time. That it's an everyday lifestyle. The same way you wake up and go to bed, it's an everyday lifestyle. So when I wake up, I don't care if I'm meeting Obama or whoever. I need my 30 minutes to 1 hour to do my exercise. Whatever it is, I just have to do something. There are 3 basic things that I do every day, and it's been working for me for the past 6 years. And it's good. People say me, hey, this and that. I say, oh no, it's God. But God is the one that is blessing me. But then I also, make sure that I made that decision that every day I have to take care of myself. Because if I can't take care of myself, I cannot save you, I cannot save my daughter, I cannot save my sister, my mom, my nephew. It will not happen. So I just wanted to add that, and I really appreciate you guys sharing this with us, because we really need this information. I never even had any idea it was pyramid that was saying.
This is serious. We wanted to find out what the 3 things are. You didn't mention them. It's a conversation we're having.
So I like it when the men are very interested.
Tell them.
We want the 3 things.
All right. So I exercise. I drink a lot of water. I always have at least 4 or 5 bottles of small bottle of water in my room. If on the left side of my bed, you find 2. On the other side, you might find 2 or 3. My bed, my single chair where I sit and read or do my work, you find something there. And also, I love herbs a lot. The one that you like and the one that you was talking about. And the one Marley was talking about. Look, herbs is the healing of the nation. It works. You just don't know how to use it.
Just educate yourself on how to use it.
I wanted to add something to what he said. Earlier on you were having a conversation about water. A friend of mine had stroke. And when we took him to the hospital, the first thing the doctor was asking was, did you drink water this morning? He said no. He said your blood is clotted, heavily clotted, and if you had drunk water, it would have thinned it a little bit. And the way you fell down, that impact wouldn't have been so heavy on you. Yeah, I mean, he's been in bed for over 6 months now. Wow. I'm talking about last year. He's not even said hello. Oh. He's not spoken. He's just 42 years. Wow. He's still in bed. I mean, he's not. You can't recognize him today, even today when you look at him. He's bigger than me. He's now half of me, and he's just a young man. So that's just how bad. And then, secondly, I wanted to say something about the natural hair that women like to wear. It's not that I'm against the church, but I sometimes have a problem. Maybe because maybe I read and I like to research. I was in church and one of the pastors was asking me, a woman had done her hair, bought this new hair that women are buying. I don't know the meaning of that. I have said that I have said to myself, I'll never buy that for any woman. I have never done that before. I'm married, my wife, she's never got that from me. I won't buy it for you. Yeah. So she got a lot of hair. And I said, one of the things why you attracted to me was that. So if you're going to buy hair from other places, you don't get the money from me. Anyways, that's just by the way. And then the pastor was between this hair, the natural hair, and then the one that the woman was wearing. Which one would I prefer? I said, I like the natural hair. And they said, oh, we are. Oh! You see? Oh! Yes, that's what he said to me. Oh! It's as if like, meaning gay. Yeah. You get that's how. You see, that's what he said to me in front of everybody.
They also go to that.
No, I don't go anymore, but my point was, I was able to walk away, insulted him a little bit in my head. I walked away. But I don't know about the others. I don't know about the other people. I don't know about other people. Because my great-grandmother taught me about that. So when you were speaking about it, I'm like, oh, my great-mother came into my head. So I met my wife. She got a lot of hair, then all of a sudden.
And you like just going in?
I like the hair. So I just told her like 3 days ago that she should dread. That's what I want. That's it.
So
when you live a healthy way, when you live a natural way, those people who are ready to move into that direction
will do it. You have to be ready to do it. I mean, and as I said, you can't change anybody, you can't force anybody. And when people come to that place, I came to that place where I'm like, no way, I don't have time for this business. It's just too much energy for me. I can't do this business again, and I stopped. So
I want to add something to what we were talking about, awareness, and especially also we were talking about mental health, awareness, a different mindset. We need a different mindset. I also realize that when we need a different mindset, it's not something you can switch it like a
light bulb.
Yeah, a light bulb on and off, and then all of a sudden we have a different mindset. I think it has a lot to do with our spiritual connection. And especially when we have time for ourselves, that's the moment when we take that spiritual connection with God, with our environment, with the people we love, when we are alone with ourselves and we feel what's going on inside of ourselves. And that spiritual connection, that will change our mindset. So there's something that happens before the mindset changes. Yeah, I want to add that.
That is very powerful. I do want to read.
Of God and knowing that we are so special on this earth that it just makes life worth living. And y'all gotta know you gotta love yourself. I say take pride in yourself, but love yourself. And you will find this life is so beautiful. And you will love giving to others that same kind of love too.
So mine is a question. So usually, she spoke about the hair issue, but in this country at the moment, I'm speaking of Ghana. So a lot of people are parading around saying they are doing organic skincare. Right? So last year I purchased an organic skincare, and I used it, and then all of a sudden I was turning white.
So,
and on top of that,
you're not white.
Yeah, I was turning white. Actually, it was something that was supposed to just glow me was now bleaching.
Long term to bleach.
So, my godmother, who's also into traditional skincare and then spa treatments, was like, buy shea butter and use it to restore your skin and maybe just stick to it and baby oil. So I started that. But when I was trying to move away from that thing, now I was getting bumps It's when ants bite you.
Yeah.
The way it is when you scratch, that's what I was now facing for a whole 2 months before I was able to go back to my normal self. And I realized that
it was like poison.
Did you confront them, the people you met them?
Well,
I mean,
the challenge you have in
I mean,
we
Ghana,
don't
yeah,
give
what you need
feedback,
to
we
do.
don't report, we don't.
I did say it, but
Why
she was
would you
like,
go to take
no one has complained, so I'm not
Yeah.
who was attracted. Yes, so I just take it that way. And secondly, I realized that most of the times when they say caramel, you see, or even chocolate, you see people turning fair.
Yeah.
So is organic supposed to make you fair?
No, it's
not.
the originator.
But what is this?
No, it's something I'm seeing running
Yeah.
all around.
It's
All
not
organic,
organic.
without enough years to tell people fair.
Anything processed.
It's not organic.
Come again.
Then the next product is not
It's not
organic.
anything that goes through the machine is not organic.
They're marketing it as natural and organic, but it's not.
Okay. I've been not you.
So how do you even talk to your parents politely that this is what I want you to do? Because for them, even if you should say, I want to do music, it's not something I should. Music is nothing. You don't have to school, but you have to school to be good at it. So how do you convince your parents politely? Because African parents, they don't talk to them.
Definitely, it's not an easy thing. I had a lady actually facing the same challenge as well. What I recommended was, let your parent understand. I know it's not easy. Sit them down. From heart to heart, you are their child, and I think they want the best for you.
As parents, I have 4 boys. The hand that pays is the hand that rules. That's how it pretty much works. If I'm paying for this, I want that to happen. I think the issue is the lack of imagination as to what you're doing when I want you to do that. For example, you have a background in engineering, correct? Building things. And you love children.
Yeah, I love to.
And you love parenting and trying to understand children.
No, she said she wanted to be a presenter. No, she wanted to be a presenter.
But you want to present?
Yeah,
Yes.
but I was
Gotcha.
given the option. It's either you do engineering or you just find a way out.
As a presenter, what would you normally do as a presenter?
I would like to get into the media, the entertainment sector.
And you don't think engineering can do
Can
that?
go there? You can.
You can.
With your degrees in engineering, you can present things in the
Things in
lines of
engineering. So now you even have a bigger platform.
Exactly.
So that's all I'm saying.
It's not lost.
The engineering would get you to a platform that would make you unique because you'll be a female presenting engineering. And no one says, well, why can she present engineering? Well, she has a background in it and she studied it.
And the problem now is at my workplace, we are, the department, we are 12. But I'm the only lady, and sometimes they want to use me as a secretary because they see a lady can be more of a secretary than
an engineer.
Okay.
No, I know. It's my festival. Let me come. I'm taking the high road. Let me say this to you. That is a topic, okay? But I have a daughter. She came to me when she was 14 years old. I want to be an aeronautical engineer.
Hi Jammers, okay, so we've just had the first part of the session and you are...
I'm Linda Ofafa from Ghana.
Okay.
I'm a hair trichologist. I treat hair and then my profession is also an electrical engineer. Yes, so I have 2 professions, but I do more of the hair treatment for women and men. Yes. Those who have hair, who have locks, who have natural hair, we make sure we have products to treat your hair. We run a treatment center and there we take care of alopecia, baldness, breakage, hair growth, whatever challenge you have with your hair, you come to see us and we assist you.
Okay, so we're just going to go and have a look at the products now.
Yes.
Probably won't be able to have much volume on that because obviously we've got music playing in the background. But I do find it's just quite interesting that, whether you wear wigs or whether you wear extension or natural hair, it's all about having a choice.
Yes, it's all about having a choice because for me personally, 9 years ago I had a bald patch and at that time I had pen. So I had to study on hair trichology and then I discovered that there were actually natural herbs in Ghana here that we can formulate and use for hair. So after using it for my own hair for 2 years, I came out with an amazing result, a lot of hair and beautiful texture natural hair, which was God given. So I decided, why don't I just start this thing for women and men and children? So I've been doing this for close to 9 years now. Our business is personally 7 years, but my own hair is 9 years. So that's my own hair I have on me.
And can you just do a quick overview about the fibroids? Because I thought that was quite interesting. I thought that was quite interesting in what you were saying about, I hadn't really noticed myself or known that fibroids is actually just known within the black community.
Yes, so fibroid was just discovered, and fibroid was actually found only among the black women. And we were all wondering, why should fibroid be found among only black women? So I spoke with a number of doctors, and they also agreed with me that yes, they realized that fibroid was only found among black women. So I did a personal search on what could be the cause. Then I discovered that our texturizers and relaxers have an agent inside that causes some kind of problem when it goes into the body, because we have hair pores, and when those creams are put on our scalp, it goes deep into us and causes some problems, which ends up giving us those fibroids and then cancer agents releasing cells. And with time, we either get cancer of the breast, fibrosis, or the cancer of the cervix. And I even personally had a client who came to me with a fibroid issue, and then I put her on a hair treatment for 2 years. And after the 2 years, when she went back to the doctor, they saw that the fibrosis was gone, and the doctor was asking her what she had done. But the only thing she did was to stop using the texturizer for her hair, and she started using our own treatment products that we made from avocado, lemongrass, coconut, shea. And honestly enough, she's been free from the fibroid since then. So I am suspecting that the chemicals have something to do with it. But we, for the Africans, we are fighting hard to go back to our roots and use our natural things for our own hair. You could have perm, you can have locks, you can still use our natural products for your hair, and you have a good health. Because for us, we think wellness is very important, and a good mindset. And then we can have a stronger African generation, and we can have a superpower African one day.
Superpower. Let's go and have a look at the superpower products. So Jammers, there's also some food around here. Okay, there you go, patties.
Honey in there, very large.
We've got granola happening.
Yeah.
Okay, Ava's going to go and wash her hands. Oh, this is looking very nice.
Hello, Auntie. Yeah. So,
James, what are you going to have? Oh, and they've got lots of different juices around here as well. Hi. What are the different juices you've got?
We have asana.
Yeah.
We have sobolo.
Yeah.
We have lamujun. Lamujun is ginger. The ginger drink.
So what are the different? So this is ginger.
This is ginger. This is the hibiscus flower.
Yeah, sobolo is the hibiscus. That's sorrel, Jamaican style. And what is this one? Asana.
Asana, it's made with corn.
And what are the different prices on these?
It's 5 cedis each.
5 cedis each. Wonderful. Have you got ice?
Yes, we have ice.
Okay, am I able to get a little bit of a sample on all of them? Just a little taste so I can see what the preference is. I've never had any of these.
Okay.
Well, I've had the sobolo. Yeah. I live on sobolo, but a little bit of vodka now and then. Oh, these tasters, you can pull some out. That's way too much. Literally, yeah, I don't want to waste it. I literally just want to taste it. Go, go, go. You're being too generous. Yeah, literally, that's it. Thank you very much. So, quite nice actually, surprisingly. It's made of corn. So how do you make that?
How do you make it?
Oh, is this the palmed wine? Corn wine.
Yes. So what they do is that they have the stem of the corn kind of grows, and so I think that's the little bit I
So it's the stem of the corn, not actually the corn kernel.
It
Yes,
starts sprouting.
the end, yes.
Yeah, it starts sprouting. That's how it is made with caramel and sugar.
That's lovely. I'll taste your sorrel just for comparison, because I do make a very nice sorrel, just a tiny dash. Yeah, very generous with the tasters here. Thank you. Yeah, I like my sorrel a bit sweeter, and you've got cloves in that, haven't you? I don't really like too much of the cloves. I prefer like the ginger and the cinnamon.
A lot of ginger.
Jammers, as I've said, I am going to be doing a lot of how-to.
Maybe it might be too spicy.
I feel like the ginger is going to be the one for me, because I do like ginger, I do like spice.
You like spice? Oh, okay.
The ginger is the one for me. Can I get a ginger, please? And then the twins are going to have a look and see what food that they want to have. Is it a patty or is it a meat pie? Okay, so Jones is going to get a meat pie. And there you go, Janice. This is a Saturday and we've got lots of different things happening here. So yeah, going to Ghana, always something to do. And this has been a very, very informative talk. And I'm really been enjoying listening to this. But I'm just going to finish paying up here. Because as you can see, they never give me a chance. Either they're ignoring what I'm saying or they're interacting. Okay, so now I've asked them to just leave my drink there for a minute. So this is the coconut cake.
Grated coconut and then caramel sugar.
Yeah, how much are these?
5 cedis.
Okay.
Everything is 5 cedis. And this is made with granuts and spice.
It's made with granuts,
peanuts, yeah, and spice.
And it's called
Kuli Kuli.
Kuli Kuli.
Yeah.
And this one is called
the cake. That's coconut cake.
And this one is
granite cake. That's a cake.
Groundnut.
Yeah.
Is it not the same?
No, this is with sugar and this is with spice.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try it all really. It'll be rude not to. So I'll have one of each of these, please.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go and get some food for the twins. So Jammers, I'm back because these are delicious, absolutely delicious. As well as our sweet groundnut. If you like savoury, the kule kule, is it kule kule? Kule kule will be your preference if you like savoury. I like sweet, so the cube.
Come again?
What's this called?
Yeah, kube cake.
Kube cake.
That's coconut cake.
Yeah, coconut cake, delicious. So I'm getting some of those before they're all gone. And this one is called
Inkati cake. Granite cake.
Groundnut cake, delicious guys. I can see me with a nice cup of coffee enjoying those. Those could quite happily be found in the likes of Starbucks. Absolutely delicious, Jammers.
It's not spicy. Just savoury with coconut.
Oh no, I've had this. I remember Mia and I tried these and we didn't really like those. Yeah, but thank you very much. But what's it called, these ones?
It's called Agbelika Klo.
Agbelika Klo.
Yes.
Okay, there you go, Jammers. Don't laugh at me. I said that perfectly. And that's cassava, guys, with coconut.
Well, what happens when other people tell our story?
They lie.
Oh, okay, let me run over there. See, you late. And you left the door open. See, it's not a barn, baby. You know, we close doors because we got air conditioning. Okay, so let me run over here. What did you say?
I said when people tell our story, they lie.
They lie. Okay, it's not quite our story. It's quite what they want us to believe our story is. Okay? And so they lie. And so I said, I want to hear from us because we tell it the way we want to. I'm also getting back to the place. See, this is my resistance. I'm getting back to the place where we tell our stories in the way our brains function. We're oral learners. Yes, visual learners. That's our story.
All of us came from universities that people don't know of. Right? That is our story. We don't talk about the Western universities, but we talk about the African university. And most likely we disregard ourselves when we want to compare ourselves with the Western way of thinking. And then we think we are not worthy being there and have the title they created and they give to themselves and sometimes give to us. If you look at the picture there, it's my mother. And I don't really look like her. She was not educated, but she was a professor. Because of her, I can speak English and I can speak Dutch. Because in our resistance made 6 kingdoms that still live like they were living in Africa on 6 big rivers of Suriname. We had plantation slavery, but they were successfully leaving the plantation, killing some of the colonizers, and took their brothers
Successfully
away.
killing the colonizers.
And they lived, and when they went into the forest, the rivers of Suriname, they created kingdoms and tribes like they knew it in Africa. And they still are there. I thought the paramount chief name was out of the English, but when I came to Africa, I knew they took it from Accra, Gamanche. And the paramount chief is called Gaman. So we have 6 Gaman in 6 big rivers in the forest of Suriname. And the eastern tribes, there are 3 in the east of Suriname. The Okanisi, I hear you have that word here, Okanisi. Okanisi tribe, and I'm an Okanisi woman. And the language we speak is Okanisi. And the first Okanisi Gaman was Labi, Fabi Labi. And one of the fighters was a Jaco, and they used to call him Boston Band in Jamaica because he was enslaved there. And when they sold him to Suriname, he successfully left where he was and bonded with the other freedom fighters. And he was the only one that could write and read in English. So he didn't call himself Boston Band anymore. He called himself a Jaco. And all of them had names that he knew were in Africa. One of them, of one of the tribes, is named by him, and that is Boni. And Boni, one of the Bonis had a fort called Buku, Nancy's story, and his wife was born on a Wednesday, and she was called Akuba. And Nancy's story is how they taught us. What they did in the plantations as resistance, they created the duku. They made from the duku, I hear that is how you call it here too. This is the style. This is duku. And then we call it anisa as well. I hear it's an African word as well. And this, it has meanings. That is how they would communicate. If a woman was in love, she would make a duku call, wait for me at the corner. And if you see, when I presented my credentials, to the president of the country, the head tie I had on was "Let them talk." And there is a lot. There is a book, but it is sold out right now about all the meanings. And sometimes they will tell you your piece of, you know what, don't talk to me. And the plantation slavery was harsh in Suriname. So I'm taking some things out of it to tell you because it is a very long, complicated story. When the slave women were on the plantation, they used to walk naked. But then they clothed them. Why? Because these African women were very pretty. And sometimes the owner would fall in love with them. And there is this story about Madame du Plessis, because not only Dutch owners were there, it was a Dutch colony, but you would have French and other ones would be there as well. And then you had this Madame du Plessis. Her house is still in the capital of Suriname, Paramaribo. You can read about it on Google. So I will just tell you a little bit about her. When she saw that her husband was in love with this beautiful African girl, she took her, and she would not do the job, but the slaves would do it themselves. She took her to the backyard and brought...
And he speaks to us on a regular basis. Every day. And we do what he says. So when he says, leave it alone, guess what I do? I leave it alone. When he says, I got it, I said, okay, handle that, because he your child, he ain't mine. I talk to my father like that. And what I like about the God prayer is they say, Father, Mother, God, because God is a spirit, and there's a mother in that spirit. Thank you, Mom, for the lesson
of our history. We are slaves in conflict with ourselves and not the world. We have people who are still fighting the war that ended long time ago because they are fighting the history and they are not trying to find their identity within the history. And this, to me, is the biggest chains that we can put on ourselves. Show me a man who is a slave, and I will show you a man who has not used his or her mind. We never create anything with our strength. We never do anything with our might. Everything we would be, anything we can be, and all we are is from this mindset. That's why even the good book says that by the renewal of mind, we are saved. The journey of transformation is not with building muscles or gathering numbers, but it is with the mindset that we have of self before we make it a collective one. Do we even know who we are? I don't see any competition, neither do I see division in my skin tone. All I see is an identity, because we've been given names so that we can be distinguished. So have we been given colors so we can be distinguished, not because we are inferior in any way. But the inferiority we have is the perception we have of self. The white man, 2 people in a room who claimed to be sick. This was a study that was carried out by psychologists. And they gave them Mentos and told them they were pills. Immediately, they started acting all healthy because in their mindset, they had been given medication that makes them strong. That is what we have to do now. We have to constantly give ourselves the medication that reminds us of who we are, not tells us who we are, reminds us, because it has always been there. From creation, it was there. Till the day we go, it will be there. Nothing takes away from us except the resistance, which is the inner wall that we put up, that denies us of greatness because we convince ourselves what is not possible with the limitations that we have created in our minds. But the day we say it is possible, that is the day we actually gain freedom. And so I want to ask everybody in this room one question. How free are you? Because I still see people who are limited in doing things that the world has always been waiting for. Because the manifestation of man is an exhibition of God. When we put our talents, our giftings to use, that is how we see how good God is. Because when we put our foot out, God takes control and do the rest. But we are still so limited in thinking that we are inferior. But there's a secret that you must know. That God will never do with a miracle what you must do by responsibility. And that is what we don't like. Responsibility. It is easy to blame the slave master for your current captivity because it makes an excuse for your irresponsibility. But after that, what other excuse are you going to give yourself? Because the fulfillment of your purpose has nothing to do with the one who was enslaved your forefathers. Today we are telling our own story because it is our story, not their story. Irrespective of what they tried to tell us, we have identified who we are, and that was when we set ourselves free. So now we must do better because we know better. We know better because we have come to understand our identity.
No, she's not, because there he is. What is it?
He wants to talk too.
I'm not supposed to be talking about Thank you. Bye-bye. Close the door behind you, please. 1 or 4. So, all boys. And that's my oldest right there. Family. Systems. So, yes, our background is in cybersecurity. Me and my wife, we both have over 40 years of experience in cybersecurity, working for the military, or U.S. military and the United States government on a variety of different projects. But that is a very small piece of what cybersecurity really is. Cybersecurity nowadays is a lifestyle that I think everybody should incorporate because we don't think about it as much. I can talk a little bit about cybersecurity and talk about our history all together, which makes it says it's more of a lifestyle. For example, we can go all the way back to slavery, and we talk about how we communicated. In cybersecurity, that would be considered encrypting, because you were using code to message and to get the message across for the mission that needed to be completed.
Which was our freedom.
Yes. Yes. So, and in America, speaking of braids, our women actually braid their hairs with paths on how to escape the plantation and to get free. And I know they did the same thing as well. So, again, that ties us how far apart we are, yet we all still do the same thing. We all see our reality. We see their reality and how we sit in that reality. And that is called social engineering, which is another part of cybersecurity. And to our beautiful young lady, had also talked about the mental stress she had internally, talking about how she wanted to reflect what was being done to her externally through internal means, through her mind. That is programming. So what would have ended up happening if she had not ceased the programming is at some point it either would have killed her or she would have killed somebody, because it's bad code. And we all know that type of coding can cause havoc. Yeah, malicious ware. There we go, malicious software. So even in again with that military background, nothing is emotional. We're not taught emotion in war fighting. The SAC also uses a lot of his patents that he's used. Matter of fact, here in Ghana, thank you to the broadband and fiber optic cables, Dr. Mensah, who was born in Kumasi. He is one of the reasons why the internet is so successful. Yet we don't talk about our achievements Yes, we don't talk about our achievements.
He's on my phone.
Yes, I talk to him so often. That phone, black person, African, lights, African, chairs, just about everything you can think of. We've had some, yes, we've had some contributions, but we weren't able to profound on them because we couldn't control the information. And with me and my wife, we have a company called Crofo Systems, which is, if you know Crofo, if you Shanti, you know what that means, protector of the chief. Well, we protect systems. And that's one of the reasons why we changed the name of our company, rebranded it, moved from the United States and came here to teach Africans in understanding the threat that we're under in regards to cybersecurity and how it impacts your everyday life.
I think that's your son.
Might be. That sounds like a special knock. That is my son. He's Nunyanti. So he's very active. Yes, he wants to know everything. He's and I try my best not to limit him to the things that he do, trying to protect him. I'd be like, no, let him do it. Let him figure it out. Oh, that hurt. What'd it be like? Okay, we're not gonna do that again. So sometimes the first country I visited was in Djibouti. I was in the military. First thing I said, getting on the plane, where are all the kids at with the flowers on? It's the first thing I said. And I'm like, wow, why did I say that out loud? First of all, so I got off the plane, it's the first thing I said, in uniform, with my gun, like, all right, where the kids at with the flowers?
Bad code, Jamel, bad code.
Yes, part of my programming.
Part of your program.
And I'm very outspoken, and now I've learned to try to use more metaphors than speaking to meet people where they're at. And I think that works better. Instead of me just blah, 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 and using words people don't understand. So I go, okay, in order for them to understand me, I have to meet you where you're at, and then we journey together. I can't pull you along. And that's one of, I think, our problems we're having in the quote-unquote conscious community or the remote community, however you want to label it, is that we're trying to drag everybody else. Okay, I got out of bed, I woke up, I made it out of my house. Why are you still sleeping? Come on, let's go. Yeah, and they're like, I'm still tired. I don't get it. My brain still hurts. You're giving me too much information. So we have to segment that and then direct everybody to her so she can transition them to where they need to be. But back to what I was saying before in regards to our history, who we are, and how that affects our future. Because at some point, we're all going to be connected to the internet, either directly or indirectly. We're going to be leaving our memories on there, and they don't go anywhere. But we don't own them. And that's the security. That's the problem. You own nothing if you don't control the power button, you don't own it. And the gentleman I spoke to was an artist, and he was like, well, how do I keep my content, yet keep the value of my art if I'm on Instagram? And I said, well, then get off Instagram.
That's right.
It's very hard, because they've already marketed to you the value of Instagram. They've showed you all the other people who put content and the money that they made. So then why don't you find artists that have the same mindset you have? You buy somebody to build a website, put some data on it, and now you put your one picture on Instagram, and then you link them to your website that you own. And now you're not being monetized. Instagram is free, correct? Because you are the product. You are the product. If you paid for something, you receive it, they got the money, you go about your business, either for the service or the product. Instagram is a business. It does ads, it does marketing. In order to do that, I gotta get people on the platform to do it for me. So when I talk to people who talk about these social media platforms, that you're just an extension of their marketing team that they didn't have to pay for. Because I wouldn't have got on Instagram, because you're telling me now I have to follow you, and I'm interested in you, I have to get on Instagram now to follow you. So I gotta create an Instagram account just to get on with you, which adds to their marketing budget to get more people, to get more money, to fund you, to disenfranchise you, to manipulate your mind. And be like, again, you're not in chains, but you're in chains. Because now I'm limiting yourself. And Mama Lou brought it up when she talked about TikTok. China changed their whole algorithm for TikTok. There is no nonsense on TikTok. If you're on TikTok in China, you're learning about something. Some quick thing to learn for their kids. The quick things our children learn is how to Dougie, how to, move booties, how to hit people side the head, how to do the next challenge, but nobody's really challenging our youth. That is the first line of defense. That's how Crawford's system sees cybersecurity. The first line of defense is the mind. I can buy all the most expensive security software and go through all this process of encrypting data, but if I don't teach the people who touch my data, and this is for CEOs who have employees, if they're not properly taught how to navigate on your system, then they're going to expose you to your whole company being hacked. Again, being here was socially engineered. You were socially engineered to be here. Why? Because Mama Lou said, my beliefs and values are this. I want to see who else has these beliefs and values. And those that showed up, she now has done a social experiment to see who's going to come from social engineering. And like I said, it's just a tool. It's not nothing bad, it's how you use it. If our children are easily socially engineered, because that's what we're doing as parents, we're socially engineering them to be better than us, then we need to take control of the tool that is being used against us. And that's how we should be navigating ourselves from this point forward. So they say, now you know, now you grow. Yeah, stuff like that. Those are the things that we have to take into account. And the self-reflection that each of these young women have made is proof that if you know thyself, then you know where you're going. You know, I can't start my journey, and my journey is very colorful if you want to look at it, being homeless and stuff like that. Yes, ma'am. I don't know if you have a trash can yet, though. It's a little too much, but yeah.
I didn't do no dumpster dive.
Yes, I did. Anyway, and you wouldn't know, because I don't look like a person that would eat out of a trash can when you're I'm not going to let that affect me. It's an experience that I believe, and it gave me value. And not to gross anybody out, as long as it's in the bag, it's still good. It's back at home, it's still good. Yeah, you know, I'm just saying, there's good stuff in the trash can too. Let me stay out there. Anyway, it's so social media. But it wants to fix it. Because to fix it to make us better would make us, in their mind, superior. And because they came up with the word, that's why they were afraid of it. You can't put a black African person and a European person on the same playing field. You can't. To do so, we would far surpass them in many levels. And it's fearful. And I don't know why they have that fear. They should do some research, but they're very fearful of that because the lack of control within them. Africa is under a lot of control, and I know I'm going to step on a lot of toes. A lot of people don't want to hear it. Yes, it is what it is. If, from a cybersecurity perspective, if I do not control the system which things operate, it is not my system. If an outside person is controlling my system, one or two things is happening. One, this was never my system. It was theirs that branched off from their main system. And it has its own controls, and it has its own policy procedures as to how it operates. And I have to abide by those rules, because if I don't, then the security measures that have been put in place in this system will activate. Those security measures will activate. Those who need to be notified will be notified, and then their teams will come in and they will do what they need to do to bring it back down to where it needs to be so it's functioning properly. So I say that to say this. You cannot build a system inside of a system that's already designed to oppress you. It's impossible. Many have tried and many have died. Many are still trying and not knowing that they're going to die. Because that's part of the security protocols, the layers of protection to protect their system. It's their system. You can't be mad at it. It's theirs. You're in the sandbox with them. All you can do is try to get out and build your own. You can bridge systems. Bridging systems is okay, still risky, but we still do them. Russia still bridges their system with America. China bridges this system with everybody. And everybody knows what China will do to you. And yet you still bridge those systems. But they don't have complete control. Africa does not have complete control of any system. And the ones that have, their leaders are gone, and their systems are gone along with them. Like I said, turn a lot of heads, and I don't like doing that, but because of my background, I have to speak on it. So many times when we talk about systems, which is the thing that we don't talk about, most of the time we don't understand them. Can this show of hands, does anybody know what a system is? Yes, no, what a system is? Okay, I like to interact, but otherwise I feel like I'm talking to a screen and people on the other side on Zoom or something. System is a collection of parts put together for some form of function. Think of a car. What is the most valuable thing, the valuable item on a car? Which one do you think is the most valuable thing on a car?
The engine. I think the steering wheel.
The engine.
Engine, steering wheel, what else? What you got?
Brakes.
Brakes, okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, wheels.
Wheels, got you. So let's break that down to countries. Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone. All those are different parts of a whole, but then none of them thinking they're more valuable than the other. The engine can't do nothing without the wheels, or the gas that goes in it, or the blocks that hold it up. An engine is just an engine. It's nice, but you can't do nothing with it. The wheels are nice, but what are they going to carry? You can have wheels all day long, but there's nothing sitting on top of them. They're going nowhere. Same thing with your headlights, to your horns, to your seatbelt. All those things are very valuable, and they're only valuable because they operate together to make something do what it's supposed to do. A lot of us have to start thinking about systems that way instead of telling someone else to tell us what to do. Then say, okay, systematically explain to me how this is supposed to work. I'm not just going to say yes to it. What's your value in it? Why are you telling me to do it? What do you get out of it? Because usually someone's coming into your life for two reasons. To keep you from something, or to keep you from something, or they want something from you. Now your mindset tells you how to look at that. You can look at that negatively, or you can look at that positively. But I do both. Your mom wants to keep you from something, and she wants something from you. She wants your respect, and she wants your love. She wants to keep you from harm, and she wants to keep you from danger. So you look at it that way. Or you have the bad person who you thought was your friend, who wants to keep you from fame by doing things to keep you in trouble. And then, but what they want from you is your attention, and they want the energy that you're receiving from other people. So they do things to sabotage who you are. So that's what I'm getting at. It's a tool. It all depends on how you use it. And again, just looking at the diversity here, I think one of the, side note, funny thing that when I was in the States and we talked about diversity, and we talked about how white organizations need to include more black organizations. And then I said, when I start a business, it's going to be all black people. And then, well, you can't do that. It's got to be diverse. I was like, have you looked at black people? Have you seen how diverse we are? We're the most diverse people on the planet. Y'all the ones that started trying to put us into one color, put us into one spectrum, put us into one box, because we're too diverse and you can't handle it. You chronologically date and rename everything else on the planet, but you took the one biggest thing on the planet and made it into one thing. Black, African. But yet that's a lion, that's a cheetah. No, that's a big cat. No. That's a lion, that's a cheetah. And they can do that, but when it comes to us, which goes back to the programming, overall the same. We're not. We're so different on many levels, spiritually, physically, emotionally. Our ancestors, it was not saying it was any less valuable. We had the same tragedies. When we have a thing called a gator bait. That was them taking our babies and taking them to the river and putting them in the ground so that gators would come. And then they would take the gators, and instead of just doing it themselves, that's what they would do. It's very hard to relive it. Some of the men that I see with their pants below their behinds, I try to give them the history behind that.
They don't want to hear it.
It doesn't register with them. They don't understand it. I said, that's called buck breaking. They go, buck breaking? What is buck breaking? I said, the buck breaking is when a slave master grabs the strongest, most defiant, independent black man they can, and then they beat him. Then they chop down a tree, and then they bend him over that tree, and they take turns raping him in front of the kids, and the mothers, and the other young men. Social engineering. Because if you do it, then this is going to happen to you. And so the mothers suppress their men's ability to fight because they don't want to lose their children. And so after that buck breaking takes place, he's given some pants that are too big for him, and they hang off his butt, he's given no belt. This tells other white people, you don't have to fear him anymore, because he's been broken. And so they walk around the plantation, they walk around towns. If you ever see a man with his pants below his butt, he's no longer a man, he is broken. And they're a message, you don't need to fear him anymore. So if you're wondering why haven't white people told black men to pull their pants up? There's no fear no more. They understand the history behind it. You're no threat to me. You're more of a threat to your people than you are to me with your pants down by your hands. You see? So these things that we have to educate, our education, and bring to light what has not been taken but hidden. Because people take shiny things all the time. And we have a museum. They have many museums of shiny things that they've taken from us, but they don't understand it. They don't know why they did it. They just took it because it was shiny. Yeah. And then we go, oh, well, you stole this from my tribe. Yeah, but he doesn't even know what he has. He doesn't know. He just got it because he knew that it had value. It had some power to it. And yes, they did take the power, and they used it for whatever they needed because they knew what it was, because we, social engineering and cybersecurity, because we did not see them as a threat. So therefore, we taught them everything we know. So therefore, we gave them everything they needed, because we assumed that they were humans like us. I'm just being honest. Because Africa enslaved itself, and I'm gonna say that because white people ain't nowhere in the world.
Absolutely.
4 or 5 islands came and conquered a continent. Ain't nowhere in the world without help. It had to have help. So they picked this tribe against this tribe. They told this tribe about this tribe, and then let everybody fight, and they get the fruits of the labor. They made you do the work yourself, and we still do it today. It hasn't changed. They just tweaked it a little bit, and we continue the process. Then we wake up, and they tweak it a little more, and it's not the elders they worry about, it's the youth. That's when they tweak it. Because we're like, oh, we ain't about to do that, because we know our history. Oh, okay, cool. Tweak it. Take your kids, send them back to our schools, and then they get the new program. So then they think everything is normal, and then they wake up, hey, we're not supposed to be doing this. Okay, tweak it. And they do it every 10, 15, 20 years.
Wow.
Nothing has changed.
There you go.
They just tweak it, different target market. And that's why cybersecurity is so important.
Teach your kids STEM. That's the tweak. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Oh, hell no. Oh, sorry, Mom. She gonna spank me tonight. We're not into twigs. We're not into twigs. We are not into twigs. We have to get our kids steamed up. Science, engineering, art, mathematics, and design. And the up part is knowing that your identity is with the Creator. You see, if you don't know who you are and whose you are, you'll accept the bad code. You'll accept the tweak. You see, African children are artists and visionaries and designers. You see, my daughter, she's an engineer. No problem there. She's an aerospace engineer. But she'll tell you she can't engineer nothing without the design. And somebody's got to do the designing. She can't engineer anything without the art. And somebody's got to create the art. Animation shows you how a flower can talk. I love animators. I love, you be sitting up there talking to your plant. And in animation, the plant talks back to you. I like that. That's vision. Maybe in heaven, plants are talking back to me. I like that. Mindset. There's all kinds of possibilities. But if you sit there and you say, well, we're going to teach your children science, technology, engineering, and math, what's happening to the artists and the designers and the musicians and the creatives, what's happening to those people? They start feeling like they nobody. They not valuable. There's nothing that they can give the world. No, we're not going to be doing no STEM. We're not into twigs. We getting our kids steamed up. Got it? And that's you and me. That's the thing I get from you. You know, there's a difference between bad code and good code. And we got to understand what we have is good code. Thank you.
Now, how we have to teach our young. We talk, but look at where their instruction is coming from. It's coming from the outside. It's coming from, we're being bombarded. At some point, we have to say, you know what? I will instruct my kids. At some point, we have. Believe it or not, it was so cliche when Obama said turn off the televisions, and I'm not applauding him because there are things about it that I won't talk about, but he did say turn off the televisions, and I'm telling you, media is destroying us. We're buying into things that we do not understand. They are spending vast amounts. They have think tanks. They have think tanks all over the world. We're not talking about a small group or a isolated cache. We're talking about think tanks that are set up, that are corresponding with each other, and they're planning because we are the enemy. You don't worry about the 5-year-old. You worry about the giant. We're the giant. You may not feel your power because you do not accept your power. You spoke about it. We have to begin to know ourselves. There is something in us that is more magnanimous than anything that we have no idea. We have no idea of who we are. Go into the ancient temples of northern Africa. Go into Egypt. Go into the temples, and you will see written across the temples the words, 2 words, know thyself. Know thyself. This is how do we do it? Where do we start? By walking away. You talked about walking away from STEM. Yes. Why are we worried about science, technology, economic, engineering, and math when what vehicle will our children be allowed to use those tools? If they're controlling, we can only go in and do piecework. We're creative. Give avenue to the creative juices. Start listening to the kids. Take the kids around things that they have not seen before. Take your kids around things that they have not seen before. Oh, they're too young. Oh, they're too young. They won't understand. Take them around it long enough, they'll understand it. Don't turn them when the movie comes on and they cut someone open and everybody goes, ugh, no. Allow operating room procedures in your preschool and your kindergarten. Allow screens. So while those kids are watching someone being open and because they can be desensitized, they won't run away from it. Allow them to listen to a. If this is not the forum for all this, I got so much that needs to be said. We have to unplug from WASP addiction, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant addiction. We are addicted to white people.
Absolutely.
Believe it if you want to, but I'll prove it.
We are. Okay.
We are addicted to white people.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know what I want you to do with me?
Yes.
I can't thank you. Last year,
Yes.
I said I don't want to learn his story. I want to learn our story. And so when I was president of the African American Association of Ghana, I had Black Our Story. Because I really wanted us to be able to say it from within ourselves. So here's what I want you to do for me, because this is a movement. And I have a Black Our Story podcast, thanks to our partners, the Africa Global Radio. And I have a podcast. It's 20 minutes though, so you can't talk that long. But I want to invite you to be a part of my podcast. That way, you can educate us on a global level, number one. Number two, we will have this event next year. And I can honestly say to you right now that I'm in debt. Because the people I thought that would support this have disappointed me. So, I'm gonna say, everybody in this room, if you wanna understand something, put your money where your mouth is. Because this Africella started like this. He started in debt. So I read that thing and I'm like, oh my God, don't let me start like this, Lord. Please give me some money. Please, please, please. But it is the strength of having to beg, as much as I have had to beg, that will continue to spread this word and to make this a movement. This is a movement, my dear.
Yes, it is.
Okay?
Yes, it is. And there are ways to move to navigate through this problem. There are two things that I would like to say. One, we have a 12-step program.
Okay.
I have a 12-step program that we're initiating. A 12-step program to steps that will help you reduce the addiction to white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Give us a chance. Let's see whether or not there's something we can do with that. And also, when you were talking about them, was that you talking about them marrying into our family? Or that was you talking about them marrying into the families? There's a book. It's called The Destruction of Black Civilization, written by Chancellor Williams. That book should be mandatory reading at all levels. He talks about that from day one, how they came in from the East, how they married into our families, how they used the trade routes, how they used the women to dilute our race and take power in our communities, and how they eventually ran us we had come from the West with brilliance. We came out of Ghana. We came from this part of this continent, and we built all of this fame they talk about in Egypt. They came and they ran us out. They ran us all over the continent. Find out about your history. Find out who you are. Chancellor Williams has documented this. Read the book.
And we would love to have you on our podcast. I would love to have you support. Next year, I'd like to have you as a speaker. Yeah. Hello, as a speaker. Okay.
I'll be on.
You have my number, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so for people that don't have my number, for people, I got it.
Jammers, I hope you have enjoyed this day. I must say it's just been so informative. And again, this is a movement. Here we go. It's all about freedom and justice. It's all about knowing thyself. And again, as I say, just naturally, I always attract positive people. Because yeah, this event I've very much enjoyed. You know, similar people with a positive mindset. We can all do anything we put our mind to. We all have to know our story, to know who we are, to know where we're going. So Jammers, if you've got to the end of this video, as I was saying, Jammers, if you have got to the end of this video, please do go ahead and press that subscribe button, Jammers, because I'm hoping that you will see that there's so much more to come from the channel, something a bit different. And again, I have missed the rain once again. I'm trying to figure out what this actually means, because I haven't had or haven't seen any rain for like absolute weeks. I did see some rain when we were inside, and I don't know if there's going to be rain in the area when we go back, but it's all about blessings. Black Hour Story, jammers, keep jamming.